Ducklings, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back after that very short break, like a couple of seconds break. Welcome back to our second best of 7 of the night. Again, we're just very quickly catching up with the clean feed here. Up next is Team Vitality versus Twisted Fairy. We just wrapped up with Team Liquid versus Mystery All Gamers, and now we have our second best of 7 of the night. And as we settle into this, a big shout out to Madhari Papi. Thank you so much for subscribing with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. We do appreciate the support. Hope you enjoy your emotes. Hope you enjoy the content and the casting here on the CranKy Ducklings. Fun fact, we do have a new set of emotes on the way. We have commissioned a set of emotes, and they're going to be amazing. They're going to be very cute, as you can imagine. Quack. Very duck related emotes, but they're on the way, so look forward to that soon, TM. As we're settling into our next series, we have Solar versus Stats, Ryung versus Classic, and Maru versus Shameless. Oh my god, what a matchup. Again, Twisted Minds and Little Fairy have joined forces. They've come together, they've joined forces, and together they are Twisted Fairy. I love the custom logo. I'm loving the brain and the like crazy like vampiric fairy in front of it. It's beautiful. It's very twisted fairy. Do appreciate it. Some of these other merged teams haven't done this. They just put their logos next to each other, you know, like Psystorm Navi or Mystery Gaming All Gamers. Like for this one, they put effort in. I appreciate it. So I do appreciate Twisted Fairy for putting that effort in. But we're diving into our first series, our first matchup, Solar versus Stats, a ZVP between two amazing players in the Korean scene. Stats was kind of on the rise over the past couple of years after his return from the military. It took a while for Stats to really catch his footing. Stats, he didn't have the best performance at IEM Katowice at the start of the year either, but I don't know what it was. Maybe it was IEM, maybe it was Stats being at an offline event again, meeting the fans, getting motivated. It was post IEM Katowice that Stats started popping off. Like, he started getting really good results in GSL, really good results in online tournaments. I imagine that was part of the motivation for Stats to improve. And Stats has been improving quite a bit. And I want to say that this matchup here is going to be far closer as a result. If this was a year ago, I would say Solar takes this 100%. Nowadays, Stats has a good chance. He has a good shot. As we are going to be jumping in and get our players just setting up, our players getting ready. Game 1 is going to be on Post Youth. I'm catching up. I'm catching up and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Post Youth. We have Solar for Team Vitality. And in the top right, we have Stats for Twisted Fairy. When is the CranKy Duckling crew coming to Las Vegas? How about a party to gamble some of those esports millions? Kappa, puppy Kappa. There is an event happening in Las Vegas. There is an event happening in 3 hours. In 3 hours time, it's the SC2 Safe House. We will be casting the SC2 Safe House here on the channel right after WTL. So we'll be casting the SC2 Safe House. We are going to be the B stream, or technically we're going to be the C stream. This is the main stream. I believe Rotterdam is the B stream. We are the C stream, and then Bahamut Gaming is the D stream. So there's going to be 4 streams in total. We will be a part of that, and we'll be bringing you as much StarCraft content as we can in 3 hours. So non-stop StarCraft, papi, non-stop. Let's go. I woke up at 6 p.m. for the Vegas. It's true. It's very true. I did wake up at 6 p.m. I did. I will come out about that. It's true. It's gonna be amazing. I also have some coffee ready to go as well, to make sure I stay awake and I don't pass out. I'm energized for the cast. But for now, we're focusing on WTL, and for now, it is going to be a hatch gas pool opener here out of Solar, taking the in-base natural, going for the hybrid, not rushing into the gold, not yet. Likewise, Stats going for a gate expand as well. So everything is looking normal, everything is looking standard for the time being. Quickly talking about the map, I should talk about it just because this is one of the more vetoed maps in the map pool. In WTL, there are no vetoes. No vetoes in WTL. The first map is predetermined ahead of time by the admins and by the organizers, so if you don't like some of these maps, I mean, we force it. We the admins, they force Post Youth, they force Dynasty, they force all the players to play on these maps. Likewise, it is loser's pick as well, and I appreciate it. It's a more unique format. It does lead into some more odd games because we force some of these otherwise vetoed maps, but if that wasn't the case, we would never see these maps. Like, it was last season where I only ever casted Radisson Station during WTL. I never got to see Radisson Station otherwise. It was very rare to see Radisson Station in the previous map pool, but thanks to WTL, we got to see more on it. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun as a result. Maybe not the most balanced of maps, but it's fine. It's fine. we enjoy it anyway. As for now, we are settling in. Again, Solo going for his 3-base setup. Still avoiding the gold for the time being. Again, the in-base pocket base here is a hybrid base with plenty of minerals to take advantage of. Is applicable to both players. And Stats' opener is going to be a Stargate. Could be a Stargate opener into an Oracle. Pretty standard stuff so far. Nothing crazy yet. It is going to be that Oracle opener. We have our Adepts being active on the map. Stats trying to pick off workers wherever he can, but looks like he was deterred in the end. Was forced back home. And we'll see if Stats can get more success here with these Oracles. As the first Oracle's on the way, second one is in production. By coffee, he means Dare Ice coffee. You're not wrong. I do have a bottle of Dare Ice coffee, of Mocha Dare Ice coffee, ready for tonight. True. I was saving it. Oh my god, as that's a fast Twilight Council. Okay, so my apologies, I was a little distracted. It's going to be a double Oracle opener. We skipped the third Oracle to get a faster Twilight Council, and that Twilight Council is to lead into a Mass Gateway Explosion into, I imagine, Glaive Adepts. So this looks like a hidden, delayed Glaive Adept build. There it is, Glaives are on the way, and the way this works is that this looks kind of standard. Like, so far with our Oracles, so far with our third base timing, this looks normal. And if this is normal, the Zerg player should not be making roaches. The Zerg player should be droning. And we can see here, we're skipping the Roach Warren, going for a Bailey Nest. We're droning up as much as possible. We have Queens on the way. And because we're skipping Roaches, because we're skipping production, this means that this Adept timing can catch Solar with his pants down. Doesn't have to, but it can. Now, with a Bailey Nest, you can defend against this, but it is heavily reliant on positional play. As you can imagine, Bailings, they have a hard time keeping up. Bailings are going to be waddling around, they're going to try to play catch up, and it's going to be difficult. But if we're able to split them up, if we're able to like keep some Bailings hidden in our bases and try to keep up with the Shades, then we can have some juicy connections. Bailings is on the way. Solar is going to be joining up to 50. Ling production well underway as well for Solar, thankfully, so he will have an army to keep up with the Adepts. The Overlord sees everything. The Overlord does confirm, and the Adepts are moving out instantly. Bailings are being morphed in. So very nice scouting here by Solar. You can put this a little bit on Stats for not dealing with that Overlord. That Overlord saw everything that it needed to, and now Solar's getting ready. Is getting ready back at home. Bailings have morphed in. And we cannot commit to the Shade. Gonna have to calm down here as... Okay. I got concerned, Bobby. I got concerned. But so far, so good. Solar is keeping up. The Queens are a little bit more exposed, but we do hold our own. Stasis Trap on the way. Adepts, they don't quite commit yet. And Solar, he's amassing so many Lings, cutting workers early at 50. The Stasis! We bait him in. Nice bait there out of Stats. Does bait in those Queens. Adepts will not quite commit yet. Massive Ling counterattack as Solar's going for a massive run by even, not just with Lings, with Bailings as well. No reaction! A delayed reaction from Stats. Void's gonna be going down. Probes are pulled away, but we get 7 worker kills so far, and we're not done. Adepts likewise a race back home as well. 13, 14 probes fall. And there's no shield battery. There's no shield battery. There's no overcharge. We can even just collapse on these Adepts themselves. Getting a little bit wasteful with some of these Bailings, but regardless, a good amount of damage. 15 probe kills. Stats down to 49 workers. The Adepts, they did nothing across the map. The downside here is that, remember, Stats, because of that upgrade, because of the glaives that he invested into, Blink is delayed. Blink is delayed. Forge is delayed. Upgrades, Storm, Robo, all things Protoss here was delayed in favor of the Glaive Adepts, and we didn't get enough done. We didn't get anything done. So now Stats is playing catch-up. Stats, he's building up towards Archon, Storm, and I imagine eventually Blink Stalkers or some further tech. With the second robo, it looks like Immortal production even. I think that's the first robo. Never mind. So basically, Stats is stuck at home. Because Stats is stuck at home, Solar has the opportunity to drone up. We can just drone up, get up to 80 workers, expand, take more bases. Yeah, the gold base is getting saturated for Solar. And we even threw down the Roach Warren. So Solar can get into massive Roach Raptor production. Stats is going for a bit of a push here, but we have to be careful. There's no War Prism to reinforce. There's no War Prism to juggle either. We do deny some mining time, but again, Stats has to be very careful with that army. Cannot afford to get caught out. This is a risky maneuver out of Stats, but very necessary. Just because, you know, he's a little bit behind in certain aspects, he needs to deny creep, catch a drone here or there, catch a queen. Oh, but he can't afford this. Oh, was that a kill? No shot. That was potentially a kill, at least a cancel on the 4th base, so a nice run by there by Solar. Ay. Back at home, Stats throwing down the second robo, getting into Immortal production, I imagine. Stasis traps being thrown down. Stats attempting to stabilize, just defending and turtling up as best he can. But we spoke about it. Solar, he's free to drone up and he's soon to max out. Like Solar, he's on a lower drone count. He's on 76 workers, but he can afford to be on a lower drone count because of the gold. Remember, the gold base was taken and that gold more than makes up for it. So Solar, he's maxed out, rolling on in. Who needs Ravagers? We focus on the first Archon. Shield batteries are not done and they're not going to finish. Yeah, they can be focused on one after the other. Baileys, they crash into the Zealots. Roaches from behind, forcing out the Storms, catching an Immortal. Ooh, we do sit in the Storm, though. That was quite a lot of damage dealt to the Roaches. But we're overwhelming Stats nonetheless. He's going for a Desperation Zealot counterattack across the map, and he will get some drone kills, but that's another kill on the Nexus. GG gets called. It's just too much, and Solar will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, Solar does take a solid win here in game number 1. There was potential for Stats, but it's a risk that you take, right? If you're investing into something like Fast Glaive Adepts, it's very risky and it needs to get damage done. You have to keep it hidden for as long as possible. Solar had a beautiful reaction to those Glaive Adepts. He shut it down almost instantly, and from that moment, Stats was on the back foot. Was struggling to keep up, and in the end was overwhelmed. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Now, as a reminder, it is loser's pick. Loser's pick here in WTL. Stats has chosen Golden Aura. And in the bottom right hand corner we have Solar for Team Vitality. And in the top left we have Stats for Twisted Fairy. Let's go. I almost said mystery all gamers again. I'm struggling a little bit. Here we go. We are settling into game number 2. Game 1 was a little bit shaky there for Stats because of his build of choice, and also I guess because of the scouting of Solar, because he was able to prepare in time, recognize it, and get ready for it. We'll see how Stats adjusts. What I will say after game 1 is that I do not expect Stats to do the same build. I don't expect him to go into Glaive Adepts in such a fashion again. I expect something different. So my eyes are mainly on Stats. Meanwhile, Solar expanding, taking the unnatural natural, hatch gas pool. Gonna be a standard opener here from our Zerg player. That is a lot of plushies. True. I'm celoso. I'm jealous. I need to set up my background. I said this before. I need to take a new photo of all my plushies. Like, my collection of plushies has grown. It's not just the probe. It's not just... Hold on. Where is the... There. It's not just the probe and the Zergling and the duck. Not anymore. This is outdated. This is like 2019 light. No. We have more plushies. We got the Overlord. We got the Infestor. More Zerglings, the Marines, the Zealots. I need a new photo. For now, though, we're settling in. Soon to be going for our tech of choice should be a Stargate opener for stats. Should be. I'm going to be surprised if we see a Twilight Council opener, something more aggressive. Keep our eye on our Protoss, as we are just settling in. When it comes to the features of Golden Aura, the third base is quite secure. The ramp coming into the third is very narrow and very difficult to commit to an all-in and try to force yourself up the ramp. Because of that, usually we don't really see too much of that here. You could try to go the other route and come in from the other side, but even then, the choke point is also relatively narrow as well, and it can be good for breaking the fourth, but the third is a lot more secure. Meanwhile, we have our tech of choice. Going to be a Stargate opener here for stats, once again. It should be Stargate into Oracle. We could see a Void Ray based opener, that's true. But we mainly see that from more aggressive Protoss players. I haven't really seen too much of Void Ray play from stats. It's not really his style. I mean, I say that. He did just play Glaive Adept. True. This is a different stats. You know, the military did change him. No longer is he just the Shield of Ire. We have seen more aggressive builds from stats since his return, especially this year. There it is. The Oracle is on the way. Oracle's on the way back at home. Should be leading to a second Oracle into a third base, so everything looking as it should for the time being. Likewise, Solar poking out with some Lings, trying to get tabs and keep tabs on stats. Seems like an exposed pylon. Kind of. It is exposed, but this is very common from some of the Korean Protosses. When I say Korean Protosses, I mean Stats, Hero, and Classic. Like, they don't care. they expose their pylons for all to see, Pappy, for all to see. And Zerg players, they don't try to like bait bust or rush. Like, they don't get bait. It's a bait more than anything. For lower league players, though, I would say you probably don't want your pylon to be exposed. So you probably don't want your setup to be like this. But a lot of the Korean Protoss players, they're crazy like that. So now the Oracle's being active, just getting tabs on the Queen. So far, no major drone damage. No economic damage yet. We're headed into the main. We have our follow-up as our third base is getting underway. It's going to be a Twilight Council on a Forge. This looks like a standard follow-up into +1 and Blink. We're not rushing into Glaives like we did previously. Steel mode. I need you to calm down in the chat. They treat their pylons like Light treats his legs. They're exposed. For all to see. You're an animal. It has actually been quite cold here. Like, it's winter in Australia. For those who don't know, it is winter. Has been quite cold. It hasn't stopped me, though. It hasn't stopped me from not putting on pants, but still, it's cold. As behind this, there's that +1 and Blink that we spoke about. Ooh, interesting. So I assumed that this was going to be +1 Blink into Colossus, but that is not the case. We're going into a Templar Archives. We're working towards Storm and Archons instead. As the Oracles go for a dive, they manage to get 2 drones in between the bases. That's okay, but the Oracle, it's low. Oh! And it looks like it barely will escape. Barely. We do not punish stats. Does get away. Whew. And may even force a cancel on the 4th. Oh, we do. Not bad. 4th base is canceled. The Oracles, they get the hell out of there. 3 drone kills in total. And there it is. Storm is on the way. A Storm can be a risky upgrade, as we do see Solar droning up to 3-base saturation. We have Roach speed on the way, plus on attack is about to finish up. And that is Overlord speed as well. We'll keep an eye on Solar, but it looks like he's going for a 3-base all-in. Solar, looks like he does not intend for this game to go on any longer. He does catch some Stalkers. 2 Stalkers go down. We get eyes on the 4th base. We could force a cancel as well. Very nice damage dealt here. And again, Solar, he is not droning. He's cutting workers at 64. We have Overlords on the way. Roach is on the way. Upgrades as well. And those Drop Lords, that Overlord speed should be for Drop Lords. I was getting ahead of myself. But Drop Lord should be on the horizon here. as Solar is doubling down, still being very active with these Lings. And there it is. You can see on the production tab, Dropper Lords are on the way. Let's go. Now, we have seen a lot of more modern 3-base all Lings from Zerg players where they use the Dropper Lords to send Lings into the mineral lines at the same time. I'm curious if this is for the Lings or for the Queens. We have our answer. I think that's the Queens. So we're going for a frontal assault instead. Yeah, we have 4 Queens in the Dropper Lord. 2 more Dropper Lords on the way. And Solar is sending everything across the map. And Stats has not scouted this. He doesn't know. He doesn't see, he doesn't know. He does have a decent setup at the 3rd, but the 4th, that's more exposed. That's more vulnerable. That's where we're headed. Yeah, we're headed for the 4th. High Templar coming in for those storms. So far, decent storms on the Roaches. The Queens are dropped, but they're left. Oh, they're going to be shut down. Nice feedbacks here on the Queens. No transfuse. 2 Queens go down instantly. And Solar, he's not really gaining too much ground. He will cancel the 4th at least. The 4th will fall, but we need more than that. We're still rallying across the map behind this. Okay, Solar, looks like he recognizes he cannot end the game. We're droning. Solar's droning, and Solar, he throws out an Infestation Pit. Solar, he is transitioning out of this. He did commit quite hard. Nice overshot. No, the wall! The wall is not a wall. Lings, they flood into the natural. Stalkers are surrounded. Probes are going down. 16 probes even. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Solar still somehow finding damage here. Just keeping Stats distracted. Almost shutting down that Oracle as well. Looks like we may have had some drop loads going into the main. And with that, even though Solar hasn't killed Stats, he's being so annoying. Even spreading creep here across the map. Delaying the expansion for so long. And what is Stats going to do? Expand south? Like, expand at the linear base? Like, that's just not going to happen. As, yeah, we did drop Lings into the main. That's where we got those 16 probe kills. As they go back in, more probes going down. Stats getting pulled apart. And remember, Solar is working on that next step. He has the Hive on the way. Soon to be, I imagine, Lurker Tech. As we catch the Immortal. And as I mentioned, the Lurkers, there it is. Lurker Den is on the way. Hive is halfway done. So even though this isn't killing Stats, I mean, it's just setting him so far behind and giving Solar the breathing room he needs to take up. Like, Solar is so safe back at home. Solar could do with another base. He could do with a 5th. But for now, you know, he's still maintaining himself. He's going to pull back. Creep is denied. Solar still being active with these drops. And again, this has been more trendy as of late. I mentioned before how these like more modern all-ins do incorporate drop lords into the mineral lines. Like this. It's finally going to be shut down, but hey, we got over 16 probes. It was insane. And with that, Solar's going to be retreating. Hydras are amassing. Hive is done. Upgrades are on the way. Solar now throws down the 5th base at the triangular 3rd location. Stats is being quite active here on the map, but he can't quite commit. Solar isn't really in any danger here. Stats just clearing up as much creep as possible. We're getting surrounded! 3 Stalkers go down. Yeah, Solar does punish that move out. Stats backing off, and I think this is one of the only moves that we have available here to Stats. Fleet Beacon. The idea here, I imagine, for Stats is just to defend. To turtle up and get into Sky Toss. It's not going to be easy. It's not an easy road to travel here for Stats, but it's one of his only options. So the Fleet Beacon is finishing up. There we go. Mothership is on the way. And from here, we can get into carrier production. Meanwhile, Solar is massing up Lurkers. He's amassing those Lurkers. Working on those Lurker upgrades as well. Bleeding out some Roaches, but that's fine. Like, Solar's maxed out, and Solar, he wants to get rid of these Roaches. Trade them out for a more efficient army. For Ling Hydra. Lurkers slowly pushing forward. We catch the High Templar! 2 High Templar go down. Only 2 left. And we're going for them. Up. Only 1 left. And it's barely going to be saved. That's the only High Templar remaining. And we force out the storm. And no more storms left. Lurkers are pushing forward. And stats pushing into this. It's not going to happen. Oh my god. So much of the Protoss melts. We're down to 2 Immortals. Barely 2. Yeah, down to 1. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Solar will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, well played. A solid series here, a solid performance by Solar, taking both game 1 and game number 2. Again, in game 1, Solar was the defender. Solar was able to shut down the Glaive Adept harass of stats and punish stats as well, set stats behind. In game number 2, we went for a 3-base all-in. Solar, he cut workers at, I think it was 64, like just under 3-base saturation. Solar cut workers, built up towards Ling Roach, built up his drop lords as well, and he didn't kill stats, but he got so many worker kills. He denied the 4th and killed over 20 probes in total. It was insane how much damage was done. He was also able to catch Immortals, able to catch High Templar, able to cripple stats, and allow himself to take up into High Tech. GG. GG, well played. Again, stats unfortunately was just not ready for the all-in. He was not ready at his 4th base whatsoever. Did not see the push coming ahead of time. And now we're going to be settling into game 2, into our second series, Ryung versus Classic. Now, it's been a strong start for Team Vitality. True, Team Vitality, they come out of the gate swinging here with Solar, but Classic is the ace player of Twisted Fairy. Classic is one of the best Protoss players in the world. He's up there alongside players like Hero, like MaxPax, like Showtime. I would even say maybe Classic is top 3, just under Hero and MaxPax. I think that's where I would put Classic. You could maybe make an argument for Showtime or an argument for someone else. But Classic is one of the best, is what I'm getting at. So this is a good opportunity here for Twisted Fairy to bounce back. What I will say though is that Ryung is no slouch. Ryung has beaten Showtime and Hero and Classic all before. In these online weekly tournaments, we cover events like ESL Open Cup, like Kung Fu Cup as well. We have seen Ryung pop off, but Ryung has to be on his A game. Like Ryung, he has to be on fire. He has to be playing at his best to compete against these players. Is tonight one of those nights? Let's find out. Let's find out, man. We are here for it. Oh, and Maru, not quite like that, but at the same time, if Maru's trying something, I'm sure Ryung is as well. As they are teammates, and Ryung does often coach Maru, so there could be something in that. On a larger map like Alkione, I'm looking forward to going to a more longer back and forth. Again, our first 2 games here were a little bit fast. Like, sure, we got into 3 bases, but very aggressive games. Let's calm down a little bit here as we have Ryung in the top right and Classic in the bottom left. Oh, here we go. Gotcha. It's 35 degrees here. Oh, switch with me, Steel Mode. Catching up. Yeah, we're selling into Alkion again, one of the more macro-oriented maps in the map pool. Known for its 3, 4, 5 base play. Again, one of the big reasons for this is because of the Zonaga. Due to the Zonaga being in the center of the map, you can scout move out ahead of time. You have a ramp to secure your 3rd base. Your 4th is further back as well, saved by how awkward it is to actually push on the right-hand side of the map, as you have to mine through minerals or break down rocks. So I'm hoping we can get a longer game here. I'm hoping for it. We'll see. As for now, Classic going for his probe scouts. Likewise, Ryung opening up economically. Is opening up economically. We can see a single gas being taken by Ryung, which means this should be a Rax into Command Center, into expansion. And we do see Classic being as annoying as possible. Will delay the CC for as long as he can, and it may even force Ryung to throw it down off center. And there it is. Ryung does throw down the command center, not on the low ground, but on the high ground. So it is still an economic opener out of Ryung, and oh, he does not get the probe. 1 HP, it barely gets away. But it's an economic opener by Ryung, but it is slightly delayed because of the CC on the high ground. It will have to be floated over to the low ground. It will take a couple of extra seconds here to get going. But overall, still very economic. Meanwhile, across the map, Classic just going for a gate expand, or a gate cyber expand, into his tech of choice. And we'll see what Classic goes for, whether he goes for the Stargate, or the Twilight Council, or even the Robo. Robo openers have been a little more commonplace by a lot of the Koreans, especially on smaller maps. On a larger map like this, yeah, Stargate makes sense. It's going to be a Stargate opener by Classic. This should be Phoenixes and could lead into Colossus. And I know Terran players love that composition, Phoenix Colossus. Let's go. Is kind of the go-to composition, and has been the go-to composition for a long time, for many years at this point. And that could be the direction that Classic is headed in. I mean, it's a really solid way to play. It keeps you safe, it gets you into a 3-base economy, allows you to settle into the mid-game. We'll see if we get there. Oh, never mind, as it's going to be an Oracle first. Okay. Classic. You have my attention. We are spicing things up a little bit with the Oracle opener. Now, with our Oracle, that means that we're going to be harassing across the map, getting some scouting information, and most likely working towards a Twilight Council. We'll see. We'll see if we commit to a second Oracle, or if we just have delayed Phoenix production. Oh, there it is. Phoenix is on the way as a follow-up. First Oracle is out, moving out across the map. Headed for the mineral lines. Meanwhile, Ryung's still building up towards his own drop. As a matter of fact, just now pops out. And as Ryung pushes, we see Classic move in. Which means Ryung doesn't actually have a lot to defend. Uh-oh. there's not much at home to defend. The Oracle does dip into the natural. SCVs are going to be going down. We get 1, we get 2. We can even get a 3rd. Yeah, we dive into the main. Nothing shoots up. There's nothing at home. 4, almost 5 SCVs falling. Yeah, we get the 5th. Meanwhile, across the map, where was Ryung's army? We were pushing. We have our Cyclones, we have our Marines, we have a shield battery! Oh, and with the shield battery, with the overcharge as well, yeah, nothing is going to go down. Ryung will completely shut this, well, Classic will completely shut this down. And Classic gets 7 SCV kills across the map. Ay. Classic in a beautiful position here. Ryung does catch a Phoenix, not bad. Does at least catch a Phoenix. Trading with the Adepts, and yeah, he has to retreat. He has to get the hell out of here. Does load up, does boost over the wall. And can he shut down the Oracle? Oh, the juggling! Not quite. The Oracle gets away. The Cyclone goes down. Does force another boost. And we spoke about Phoenix Colossus, and it's kind of that. We have 1 Phoenix. The Bay is on the way for Colossus production. We did make a safety Immortal. Ooh, I'm loving this Liberator harass though out of Ryung. We do catch 3 probes. 3 probes go down. We don't quite get a 4th. Just the 3 workers. Bay was scouted, so Ryung is aware. Already does have a Viking. And does now throw down a 3rd CC. 3rd base on the way for Ryung. Classic has the map control. Does have the economic lead. Ryung is contained. Now, as a reminder, we don't have Blink. So we can contain our opponent. We can't quite threaten the bases. We can't push into the main, for example. But we can actually get on top of the CC. Uh-oh. The tank barely within range, but it's going to be cancelled. Observer going to get shut down, but that is a cancel on the command center. Ay. A big delay. And that's all the Classic needed. Hey, he backs off. He's looking good. Looking very good. Denies the command center, races back home. He's ready for drop play. Charges on the horizon as well. No blink. What I will say is that we are vulnerable to drop play. Because there's no Blink Stalkers and because we only have one Phoenix, if Ryung was active with drops, he could get a lot done. But alas, just building up towards a main push instead. Doesn't really have many medevacs to work with. Did make the Viking earlier. And we'll see if we do move out. I mean, I feel like we need to at this point. But Classic has control of the Zelnaga Tower. He's aware of the move out. Does spot the army. Stasis Trap does get baited. Nice move out of Ryung. As he moves through the center, we can see Classic just threatening the natural. Building on more Colossus. It's one of those things where the supplies are looking similar to each other, that's true, but because of the delays for Ryung, Classic is soon to snowball out of control. Like, we're just waiting for the gateways to get up and running. Storm and upgrades are on the way. Before Classic really gets into his stride. As we deny mining at the third. Now, Storm isn't quite done, so there is potential. There is potential with this push. Ryung can attempt to outposition Classic. Scan into the main, does confirm Storm. Ryung is aware. Oh, and Ryung pulls back. Ryung doesn't risk it, he pulls back, which allows Classic to get his fourth base up and running. And we spoke earlier about this map and some of its features and how we've seen more often than not on this map some more mid-game play, getting up to 4 base economies. That's where we're headed. We are headed in that direction. It is difficult to be the aggressor on Alkyone. This Classic is coming in with a storm. Oh, never mind. I was like, a storm jump? No. Zealot jump. Zealots into the main. Zealots at the third base. Storm is done for Classic. But the High Templar are back at home, not in the prism. I got excited. We are moving out. The siege line at the third base for Ryung is looking quite intimidating. I don't think Classic can quite push up this ramp. Yeah, especially with the wall off. Ryung is looking secure. He's looking quite secure here. And Classic, we're doing what we do best in TVP. We're getting up to 4 bases. It's time for Sky Toss. Fleet Beacon, Double Stargate, Carrier on the way, Mothership as well. And Classic is known for this. If you ever give him the opportunity, if you ever give him breathing room, he will try to rush into Sky Toss. It's a great effect. It can be risky, definitely, but given the game state, given how much map control Classic has, he can get away with it. Can get away with it. As he threatens to drop towards the natural, we do see Ryung finally moving out with his own drop play. It's 4 medevacs across the map. Thankfully for Classic, he isn't expanding in that direction. So it doesn't have any vulnerable bases. So to shut down. Carriers are still amassing. And the main army is spotted. You see Classic trying to keep up with the movements of Ryung. There's this bit of a dance, a back and forth posturing here between both armies. And Classic does end up catching the drop. Medevac goes down. We're going for the ghosts. We catch one. We get one ghost. We're getting a second ghost as well. Just barely, we do save it. And again, Classic has no intention to commit. His goal here is just to puff up his chest and keep Ryung busy while he gets away with Sky Toss. And Ryung has no idea. He has not scanned the main base in quite some time. Has no idea the kind of army that Classic is building up towards. Now, thankfully, because of all these Colossus, we're still making Vikings, but we're only making 2 at a time. If we were aware of the Sky Toss, we should be seeing a second starport. There it is. We just see the scan. And a second starport's on the way. I wouldn't even be opposed to, like, a third starport. The scan revealed the main army, but the scan, I feel like we haven't seen the carriers yet. Not fully aware. The base is denied. We're going for the gold. Rotating around. Cannons, shield batteries on the way. Now we see the carriers joining the main army. Now they are coming into play. Feels like our army is still quite tank heavy. And now we're pushing out. Classic hitting his stride. Storm zones the army away. The tanks do siege. Big volley's going to be going off, but we do end up activating the cloak. We have our scan. Tanks, they do get a lot of damage done, but what about the Skytoss? What about the carriers? We're getting on top of the Vikings. Not enough anti-air. The bio army cannot get close. And Classic takes a decisive fight. He's breaking on through. We were not ready for this kind of army, for all these carriers. And Ryung, I saw his head lean back a little bit there. Ay, ay, ay. Again, it is risky rushing into carriers in this way, but Classic, he got away with it. He had map control. Ryung was not aware. Now we're making 5 Vikings at a time, which will help, but we've already lost so much. And Classic can keep pushing. There's no reason to back off. Ryung is given time. Maybe we can build up a strong enough army. The armory is sniped. Do we have any storms left? I think there are 2 high Templar with the main army. Okay. More joining. More high Templar coming in. Again, we do need that ground army to support Archons, Charge Lord, Storm. Just to make sure that Ryung can't freely stim forward. Classic remaxing, pushing forward. Ryung keeping up in supply. Where are their storms? So far we see Ryung kiting back. Vikings are getting picked off. And the EMPs do connect, but we have 1 storm. We zone back the army, and Classic is breaking through. I don't even think we needed the storm. GG gets called. And Classic takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Classic will fight back for himself and for his team. Will put a point on the board. Whew. And again, Classic just having so much control at the start of the game there. Able to contain Ryung, able to punish him, able to shut down the first push, able to shut down the 3rd base as well. And because Classic was so comfortable, that's why he was able to get away with something like Skytoss. It can be punished, especially as you're transitioning, but alas, Ryung was not aware. Was not aware. Now we're getting ready for game number 2. As a reminder, it's going to be Ryung's map of choice, and we have our map. It's going to be Crimson Court. Okay. Crimson Court is coming up next. For Ryung, and oh my god, we're just jumping right in. In the top right-hand corner, we have Ryung for Team Vitality. And the bottom left, we have Classic for Twisted Fairy. Let's go. Have our second game. See if Ryung can bounce back. I want to believe he can. Do want to believe. Getting had a really shaky start. If you remember, like the opener in game 1 was brutal. With Classic getting, what was it, 7 SCV kills with the Oracle? He got 7 SCV kills and he completely shut down the Cyclone aggression of Ryung. From that moment, Classic was kind of in the driver's seat. And Ryung was just unable to take control of the wheel. But I'm hoping we can shake it off and we'll dive into game 2. More cool, calm, and collected head. Okay, we are spicing things up a little bit. As a reminder, in game 1, Ryung opened up economically. He racks into expansion. Here in game 2, double gas opener. What does this mean? This means a faster factory. We saw that in the Clem series earlier today, this led into Reactored Reaper Hellion. So Mass Reaper Hellion into aggression, into a follow-up. I think it was a follow-up drop play. We'll see if Ryung does something similar. He could go Reactored Cyclone for a Cyclone drop. Could go into a committed Widowmine drop as well. Ryung has options. Ryung has options with this build. The factory is thrown down a little bit further back. That's done intentionally to keep Classic in the dark, as Ryung does fully wall off. Classic, for all he knows, it could be a Rax Expand, and it could be a CC on the high ground 2 games in a row. So Classic is in the dark, and Ryung is settling into that factory. We'll see where he takes us. We shall see. As there's that CC on the way. Again, Ryung not going for a 1-base all-in or anything crazy like that. This wouldn't be the map for it. And it looks like we're not prioritizing any kind of upgrades. There's no fast reactor. It is going to be Reaper Hellion initially. There it is, reactor now on the way. Meanwhile, Classic going for his tech of choice. Last game, as a reminder, it was a Stargate opener from Classic going into an Oracle into Phoenixes. Here in game number 2, it's going to be a Twilight Council, most likely into Blink. Also a safer opener out of Classic. Adept does get called out, so nice control out of Ryung, but ooh, 1 Reaper goes down. Not just 1, can we get the second? We cannot. Reaper for the Adept. Not a bad trade for Ryung. And we're back across the map, getting into a Cyclone, into our Starport production, into drop play. We're getting there. But Ryung did opt not to commit too hard to Reaper Hellion. Only the 2 Reapers and the 1 Hellion. With this, he still needs the scouts. Ryung has yet to determine whether it's a Stargate or a Twilight Council. Reaper dips in and we commit. Yeah, we commit to the scout. We get eyes on the tech. Or at least on all the gateways. Which is a tell. I believe Ryung didn't quite see the Twilight Council, but all the gateways does confirm that it's going to be a Blink-based opener. I believe 3-gate Blink for Classic. 1 gate's already done, and 2 more on the way. So 3-gate Blink is just a very safe way to play. It keeps you safe back at home. It allows you to get map control, and it allows you to expand as well. So Classic just easing his way into game 2. And there's that 3rd in production. Meanwhile, Ryung trying to sneak up behind the army. Goes to the drop. The Widowmine's here into the main. Ooh, and the shot does not go off. Whew. That was close, but the Widowmine gets focused down. Marines into the main. But on their own, yeah, they can't hold their own. Not against this army. Not against all those stalkers. He also does confirm that there's only 3 gateways, not 4. And I believe Ryung also saw the 3rd base as he was coming in. Now, back at home, he still has to defend against those Blink Stalkers, so tanks are amassing, bunkers are on the way. 3-gate Blink still has to be respected. And Ryung doesn't want to just die to that kind of Blink timing. So he is setting up defensively, building up on 2 bases. Does at least save the medevac. Likewise, Ryung looking to harass here with some Ravens. We have our first Raven out with some auto turrets. Stim is on the way, Ryung building up. And we'll keep an eye on a 3rd base for Ryung. We'll see if he commits to a 3rd or if he commits on 2 bases. We shall see. As Classic is settling down. Despite the 3-gate opener, I'm a little bit surprised that Classic has been as passive as he has. Like, he barely has any map presence at the moment. Like, now we have a couple of Stalkers moving out, but for the most part, he has been defending back at home. Basically, what's been happening is that Classic skipped Warpins. He's skipped Warpins intentionally. He's been stuck on 4 Stalkers this entire time, focusing on taking. Classic has been quite greedy. He threw down a Forge, a Bay, taking up into charge. 3rd base, getting fully saturated. And Classic, he's getting away with it. Again, just skipping Warpins, focusing on tech and upgrades, and we'll see if he can survive the eventual push of Ryung. 3rd base now on the way. Ryung's upgrades are kicking in. Stim is now done, which means he can catch these Stalkers. And Stim is revealed. Ryung is moving out. And now's the time to warp in. now is the time to focus on the army. As Classic attempts to slow down the force. Trying to force out a siege. Behind this, skipping Colossus going straight into disruptors. Okay. Bold move by Classic. Rushing into those disruptors. Charge is done. We do see the Prism coming in for a backstab. As Ryung moves out, he does spot the Prism. And Ryung actually pulls his entire army back home. That's a little bit concerning. I spoke earlier about how Classic was cutting corners and skipping warp-ins, and he was, and now he's kind of gotten away with it. He's fully saturated on 3 bases, his disruptors are out, Colossus now on the way, soon to get into Colossus upgrades, +2, charge is done. I would say that Classic was vulnerable for quite some time, but now less so. And Ryung is going for a later push. You can see Ryung, he pulled back home, and now we have a Ghost Academy. Ghost Academy is on the way, 3rd base is being taken. Ryung, he's going for a later push instead, a later timing. So this is almost like, you know, no rush, 10 minutes. We have had some posturing, sure. We've bled out a couple of units here and there, but no one is committed. No one has committed to a fight yet. It's a little posturing between the armies. Classic now moving out with his entire army. With the Colossus and Disruptors. Zealots are spotted. Scan does reveal. And as Ryung's out of position, we go for a big warp-in. And massive warp-in into the main base. SCVs are going down. It's going to be 5 SCV kills. Not bad. Prism zoned away. Back at home, Classic throwing down a second robo, getting up to 4 bases. And this is the awkward thing about this map, is it's so difficult to actually harass these fringe bases. Whether it's Classic trying to hit the 3rd or even Ryung trying to hit the 4th. Like, Classic's 4th base is looking so secure. The rocks haven't been knocked down, the minerals haven't been mined out. It's vulnerable to drop play, but Ryung is going for these main pushes instead. While the Zealots do catch some of those Marauders. Never not quite connecting. Ryung pushing forward. We do have a second disruptor on the high ground, barely out of vision. Ryung doesn't know. Has to be careful. And Nova goes out, a bit premature. Zones away the army. Here we go, Ryung. Can he make this push work? Getting out a Viking. Classic still has that War Prism out on the map, is threatening with Zealot run-bys, even going into the main. The Prism headed for the main base. Ryung rotating around. Ideally being distracted by that War Prism. It is spotted. And the main armies are about to clash. Tank does siege up in time. Big tank shots going off. Classic has to force back, always is being forced back. Does have to back off. But again, the scary thing for me is that this entire time, Classic freely mining from the 4th base. It's been untouched this entire time. Now maneuvering around. Oh, his drop might get caught. Really spotted by Classic. Tanks on the high ground. Good positioning here by Ryung. That's going to try and force his way in. Has 5 disruptors. Yeah, we blink on forward. We're going for the tanks. Nova's going to be going off. Ooh, dealing some friendly fire. We come in from behind. We get 1, we get 2 Colossus. Colossus go down. We're going for the surround as well, but we have plenty of Stalkers. Yeah, Classic is holding his own. And we still have plenty of disruptors available as well. Yeah, we dive on the army. The flank falls. Do we have any Novas? Up, we do. Whew. A very chaotic fight. Very chaotic. Classic losses Colossus. Ryung losses tanks. The Bio army traded with the Gateway army. Now the scary thing about what just happened is that Classic still has 5 disruptors. I think that's the most important thing here for Classic. Did I say 5? That is now 6 disruptors. Oof. He did retain them, and that is going to be able to bully Ryung back. And we saw this before. We were waiting for it. I mean, Classic, he's not as ahead as he was in the previous game, but Sky Toss. Fleet Beacon, Stargate's on the way. Classic is getting ready for his Sky Toss. It's not going to be as easy as Game 1, though. Like, Game 1, Classic clearly had map control, and he had a lead. This time, it's more back and forth. You see Classic rotating over towards the left-hand side. Ryung trying to set up us around. Nova's going to be going off, going for the planetary. Planetary goes down, and we're going to have to recall. We're going to have to recall. You can see Ryung's army in the center of the map coming into collapse. Lunar collapse on this army. Nova's going off. Classic, there's no way out of this. He's not going for the recall. He's standing, he's fighting. Nova's going off. Nice splits here from Ryung. And Classic, he's losing everything. Stalkers are going down. Prism goes down. Only disruptors left. Now we recall, but it's too little too late. We bleed out so much. Ryung lost a base, but now we gotta go. Send it, papi, send it. So run by, we do get 21 SCVs, not bad. A lot of those workers were killed on the left-hand side at the base. And Classic is trying to work towards carriers, but he doesn't have enough time. No carriers, not yet. Nova going off, but a little bit further back. The base will fall. We did preserve a decent chunk of disruptors, but yeah, Ryung, he can dive on this. Does focus on one disruptor. Ooh. Novas will connect, but there's barely an army left. A big overextension earlier from Classic, and he's going to lose everything. Yeah, the Nova doesn't go off once again. As Ryung, he's all over this. He busts into the natural, and we're looking to tie things up. But we're looking to take a lead. As a Classic's natural base has been broken. Now we have the carrier coming up, but it's too little too late. It doesn't matter, not anymore. We have men with gun. We have plenty Marines. And 2 carriers is not enough. Yeah, we just stim forward and we win. Interceptor's going to be going down. Breaking into the main. Classic just taking in the loss here. As he wasn't in a bad position, but GG gets called and Ryung will take the game. Whew. GG. Hello, Ryung. GG. I'm trying to figure it out. As we're diving in. We're diving into game 1 and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have Maru for Team Vitality. And in the top left, we have Shameless for Twisted Fairy. Or is that like a freezer? What is that? It's like attached to the wall. It's like elevated in the sky. That's why I'm a little bit perplexed. I don't think that was here last week. I didn't notice that. I didn't see that. Hey, hey, hey. We're catching up live? Yes, live, puppy, live. Whew. Just gonna be catching up. Might be the boiler. They put the gamer in the basement. Well, like, I could be wrong. We would have to like double check with VODs from last week, but I'm pretty sure that whatever that contraption is, it wasn't there last time, right? Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure last time there wasn't like a massive hulking like washing machine next to Maru's head. I'm pretty sure that wasn't there. That's new, Pappy. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe I just didn't notice. Maybe it just blended into the background last time. What is that? Can you open it? Is it a freezer? Is it like a big freezer? I don't know. Shameless camera angle. I'm pretty sure that's his phone. Usually if you have like these interesting camera angles for the players, because webcams are required for WTL, you can like use your phone as a webcam, and that could just be his phone like on his keyboard or like above his keyboard sort of thing. As we are settling in, it is going to be a double gas opener here from Maru. Double gas into a faster factory. Bit of a more aggressive start here from Maru. Meanwhile, across the map, Shameless opening up with a Gate Cyber Expand. Standard opener so far is loading into Ghost River. Again, Ghost River is known for its aggression, known for its shorter rush distance, known for just being very much so in the face of your opponent. And we'll see if that's the case here in this TVP. For those who maybe haven't seen Shameless before, Shameless has been competing for a long time. I think he's like 17 years old. He's 17 or... No. I think he recently, like last month, turned 18. I think he's like very recently 18 years old. He's a very young player. And Shameless has been competing for a long time, but it wasn't until around November, December of last year, of 2023, where Shameless like broke into the upper echelons of GM. Like he was like top masters, low GM for a couple of years, and he finally kind of like broke that barrier at the end of 2023, and he started competing more often in online tournaments. He started competing in Hatchery Cups and Sparkling Tuna Cups and a lot more online events, and started bringing down some more well-known players, you know, like taking maps and series off of, like, I don't know, players like Battle B or Akedon or your Mixus or your even like Geralts and Christianers, right? Like your more known pro players in Europe. And yeah, it's really cool to see Shameless join Twisted Fairy, join a new team, have the chance to compete in WTL, and have a chance to really showcase himself even more. As I say that, he's still up against Maru. He's still up against Maru, which is a terrifying opponent, but I want to believe. I do want to believe. Maybe that's why Maru keeps his water. True. He does need a big like fridge for his water. Not wrong. That could be his secret. He could be onto something, Defi. As for now, we do have our take of choice. Shameless going for Blink, going for Twilight Council to Blink. 2 more gateways on the way. I believe this is going to be 3-gate Blink out of Shameless. Once again, just like what we said with Classic earlier against Ryung, this is a very safe way to open up. Assuming, no, never mind. Sorry, I thought it was 3 gates. It is 4. 2 gates already done. 2 more on the way. 4-gate Blink. This is less so a safe opener. This is an aggressive build here by Shameless. He wants to be in the face of Maru. He wants to test the defenses of the Korean Terran. Can you survive my 4-gate Blink? As Maru is going for his own aggression. Oh my god, pulling some of the boys! Boys are being pulled. Cyclones across the map. The armies are about to clash. Blink is still barely not done. Uh-oh. We need a couple more seconds, a little bit more time. 1 Stalker goes down. Tanks, they do siege up. In the center of the map, Maru just pulling his way across. A very aggressive build here out of Maru. Remember, it was double gas into a faster factory, into faster tank production. And here on Ghost River, it takes seconds to get across the map. We do catch reinforcements. Nice positioning by Shameless. Does catch those reinforcements. The gateways are going down. Oof. I believe 3 gates left here for Shameless. Pylon's going to get deep. Oh, the rover's going to get depowered. Pylon goes down. No immortals. Liberator has arrived. And Maru, he has control of the low ground. Blink is done. We dive on the tanks. We get 1. We get 1 tank. We get the 2nd tank just barely as well. Good juggling here by Shameless. Microing his heart out. He shuts down the Liberator. Now it's only Marines. And the bunkers are done. The bunkers are barely not done. Can Shameless break through? He's running out of Stalkers. He's running out of Stalkers. Running out of sea. The bunkers, they finish. And Maru, he shuts down the Robo. He shuts down the Robo. That was a close defense there by Shameless. He did get the tanks, he did get the Liberators, but he did not have enough for the Marines. And Maru doesn't stop. He will still break through. But props to Shameless. I mean, that was a close fight. That was a close fight, a close defense. Maybe if we had pulled the boys, like, maybe that would have been enough to barely hold on. But now it looks like Maru has broken through. The repairs are too good. The tank refuses to go down. The Nexus is under fire. GG gets called and Maru takes game 1. GG. See, it looks like you can open it. Like it's got like an energy rating on the side. like a shower that he also sleeps in. Could true. Just mix it all together. As spawning in the top bottom right hand corner, we have Maru for Team Vitality. And in the top left, we have it for Twisted Fairy, Shameless. Whew, here we go. It's his cloning chamber. It's the engine for his spaceship. Oh, I see. It all makes sense. It's his own personal power bank. It keeps him going, Pappy. As I'm selling into potentially our final game here, I say final game, with that last win, Maru does win it for Team Vitality. As a reminder, it's a best of 7, so first to 4 does take the win. Team Vitality will come out on top here, but we will still play out the final game to determine seeding, map score, ELO rating as well. There is still some value here in this final game. Also, you do earn extra prize money based on how many map wins you get throughout the round robin stage. So there is still some money on the line here for Shameless. We'll see if he can bounce back. That box is where the internet is. Whenever you connect to the internet, you connect to that box in Maru's basement. Oh my god. What kind of internet does he have? Unironically, Maru can fit in that box. Like that's what I'm saying. It's huge. Like he can fit in it. It's massive. Aye, aye, aye. For now, though, we're settling in. We are settling into our game. It's his TPU running the AI for his gameplay. Let's go. As we are settling into our game, once again, it's going to be a double gas opener out of Maru. Once again, a faster factory. Now, this opener looks the same as the game that we just saw from Maru. True, but it doesn't have to be the all-in, right? This could just be factory into reactored Reaper Hellion. It could be a mine drop, could be reactored Cyclone for a Cyclone drop, or it could be leading into fast tanks. We'll keep a better eye on the production tab. I apologize, last game I did miss the early tank production. I was enthralled by the white box in Maru's room. We can focus. It's all good. It's actually where light is casting from. True, true. I'm inside the box. Ah. The secret is out. That's why I'm so cold. Oh god. Meanwhile, we do have our Twilight Council open out of Shameless. Once again, Twilight Council into Blink. Unfortunately, last game, Shameless wasn't able to really embrace his 4-gate Blink Stalker the way he wanted. We may see a return to that. That would make sense. Oh no. True. It's where he's keeping all of his narcotics, Bappy. Aye, aye, aye. Out for all to see. As it is going to be Reactored Reaper Hellion. So a much more standard opener. Still aggressive out of Maru, but a little bit more common, I should say. As we have Reactoring out Reapers and Hellions as we speak. The goal here is to bust into the natural, to bust into a mineral line, to snowball out of control, to break through those Stalkers and get into the mineral line. We'll see if we can. Shield battery isn't done. Well, first adept goes down. Stalker is under fire. We're in some trouble. Stalker getting down to its hull damage. Shields are stripped. We do get away. Shield battery does finish up just in time. We already get 3 probe kills and we're going for the Stalker. We won't quite get it. We'll get away. More Hellions trickling in. Maru overextending for a moment there, but he does get out. And this wasn't too bad. I believe Maru only lost the Hellion for 3 probes. And he still has plenty to work with as he'll... Oh my god, he continued Reaper production. We're on 6 Reapers and 2 Hellions. We dive into the main base. We can focus down that Stalker. We do manage to get away to the shield battery just barely. Whew. Shield battery will keep it alive. We just go for the mineral line. Probes are going down left and right. We're almost one-shooting probes at this point. 5 workers go down. We will clean this up, but the damage was done. And we still have those Hellions. Well, they don't quite get in. It looks like Shameless was able to wall up in time. Did wall up with those Stalkers, did fend off those Hellions. Maru still has map control, still has those Reapers. And behind this, we're getting to fast tanks once again. Tanks are on the way. Banshees as they follow up. Now, we have seen a lot of tank Banshee 2-base play as of late, especially post-IM Katowice. And looks like that's what we are going to be embracing here. Shameless on the back foot. Thankfully, he will have detection. Observers on the way. Observers on the way. We even have one across the map to get a full scout. Cloak just now finishes. But we do get eyes on that Banshee. Oh, Maru, did you notice? Oh, really did miss it. But the Banshee is revealed. And Shameless should be getting ready as Maru is pushing. He doesn't pull the boys with this, bear that in mind. Still a committed move out. We have tanks, we have banshees this early on. Remember, there is no stim. The bio army is just here to protect. To keep that tank alive. Observer gets sniped. Uh-oh. We have another observer on the way. I've got Banshee coming in. Maru's still rallying everything across the map. It looks like he's headed for the natural. Rotating over towards the natural, the tanks have pulled back home. Maru does not overextend. And Shameless is getting his third base up and running. At the same time, Maru is slipping into that natural, going for some probe kills. I believe we have the shield battery to defend though. We can maintain ourselves. Yeah, we're okay. Meanwhile, Maru did make it back home. He got there. He stores the tears of other players in it. Then he drinks them to power up. Oh no. That's what's in the bottle. That's what's in his bottle. It all makes sense. As it looks like from here, we're calming down. It was quite an aggressive start here from Maru, but Shameless has defended, has deflected, and we will get into a longer game. I would give the edge to Maru. You see the worker counts are still very similar. Ideally, the Protoss player wants to be ahead in probes. Once the observer is sniped. So Maru does have the economic advantage. Is moving out, has retained his tanks over the course of this game. And this is a very crisp timing. Stim and +1 finishing up just in time for this push. Now we do have some force fields. The Colossus comes out just in time. We can't defend. Force fields are thrown down, but we dive on top of the Colossus. Oh, barely out of range. The Colossus goes down. The overcharge not close enough. And that could just be it. That could just be game. Shield battery goes down. We are down to 2 units left. 1 Stalker and 1 Immortal. Just the Immortal. And now there's nothing. We're getting into the third. And Maru is looking to take this series in a very clean fashion here. I mean, to be fair, a very aggressive series out of Maru, both in game 1 and in game 2 in different ways. That was such a clutch dive out of Maru. Colossus did fall, and now we're making our way towards the natural. Shameless, he almost has nothing left. He has 1 Colossus, to be fair, remaining. And a handful of Zealots. But the Artosis Pylon. The Pylon under fire. It goes down, depowering everything at the natural. Just a Colossus left. Looks like we don't have enough bio to dive on the Colossus, but the tanks are slowly encroaching upon the natural. Robo's going down. Shameless desperately trying to muster up some kind of army to defend and break out for one final fight. Okay, the writing is kind of on the wall here, but Shameless, he wants to go down swinging, but swinging. God, that's such a slow warp in. We're getting our warp in of Zealots. Barely gonna finish. Oh, we do trickle in though. And 3 Zealots go down. The Nexus, in a matter of seconds, will fall as well. And this has to be it. This has to be the moment for Shameless to push. And yeah, the Colossus, it just gets targeted. It just gets targeted by the tanks. GG gets called. And Maru will take the 2-0 and will secure the win for his team. GG. GG, well played. What is that? What? Every time we get a close up on Maru, I'm like squinting like at his side. I'm like trying to read what's on the label. But GG, well played. Twisted Fairy will bow out, and Team Vitality will take the series in the end. A solid series here, 5-1. A shout to Classic. Classic did put a point on the board. Again, Classic is one of the best Protoss players in the world, and he is the ace player for Twisted Fairy. So he did well for himself, but in the end, Team Vitality was just a little bit too much for Twisted Fairy to handle. And with that, we're wrapping up with day number 1. You can see here tomorrow's matches. We have Starlight Twinkle versus Weibo Gaming and Shopify Rebellion versus Psystorm Na'Vi. Whew. Here we go. For those that are maybe tuning in for the first time and maybe are unfamiliar, if you're wondering, Weibo Gaming? What? That is ex-DragonKyZ Gaming. Oh, that is ex-DKZ Gaming. DragonKyZ Gaming is no longer a team. DragonKyZ Gaming, they have partnered with Weibo Gaming, who are competing in the Esports World Cup. They've been partnered. They've been like almost acquired in a way, and as a result, DKZ have renamed to WBG instead, to Weibo Gaming, or aka Weeaboo Gaming. Lovely. So it's a bit of a shame. I loved saying Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It's like it's a cool name. I appreciated it. It's not there anymore. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. So I still have to get used to it. Still have to get used to WBG instead. But regardless, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. Hope you all had a great night of StarCraft, because we are not done. This is merely the beginning. We just wrapped up with World Team League, day number 2 of round 6. Tomorrow is day 3. We're also going to be casting that here live on the channel. But in 1.5 hours, we finished early. We finished a little bit early. In 1.5 hours time, we're going to be live with the SC2 Safe House. The hell is the Safe House? The Safe House, it is kind of like Home Story Cup, but the NA version. NA version of Home Story Cup, basically. It is an event that is hosted and organized by Zombie Grub, so a massive shout out to Zombie Grub for hosting this event. One moment, I'll just show it off on stream. Un momento, papi, un momento. Your soul brackets. One moment, bam. There we go. Let's switch our scenes over. We're doing it live. Bam. Okay. From the top, this is SC2 Safe House. It is a 2-day event. Day 1 is today. Day 2 is tomorrow. Also after WTL. And the NA scene is coming together. You can see here the talent for the NA scene. We have Zombie Grub, we have Chicken Man, we have Fear Dragon, Nathanius, Steadfast, and Zergirl as well. So the entire NA region kind of coming together here for this. And basically what has happened is Zombie Grub and the NA team have rented a place in Las Vegas. They've rented a place, a house in Vegas. They're all converged. They're already there. They've already set up. You can check it out on social media, on Instagram and Twitter. They've been posting pictures of their setup and them all getting together and having some fun in Vegas. And they're going to be hosting a tournament from that house. And this is our lineup. These are our players. We have Estrella, we have Disc, we have Trigger, we have Dolan, Epic, and Vindicta for Terran, and Cham and Eggs for Zerg. So not purely NA, we have some Latin America as well. So the Americas region. The Americas region is coming together. We have at least Latino Americans coming in to represent Zerg here, at least in this event. And day 1 is the round robin group stage. It's a lot of games. It's a lot. It's round robin with this many players. That's a lot of StarCraft. So we are casting everything today. The entirety of the round robin is tonight. We have Vindicta versus Epic, Disc versus Eggs, Chan versus Estrella, and so on and so on. Everyone plays everyone, and it starts in an hour and in like an hour and 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It says here 2 hours time. It's starting soon. It's on Team Liquid. It's on Team Liquid. So mark your calendars in around 2 hours or just under 2 hours. We're going to be live here with some StarCraft with the SC2 Safe House. We are going to be one of the side streams. The main stream is going to be featuring all these lovely people. You know, Zombie Grub, Chicken Man, Fear Dragon. I believe they also have like some other things planned. Like obviously they're all going to be drinking. They have like some drinking games planned, I think, or something. They have a matcherino with stretch goals. They have stretch goals set up as well, so you can help fund the prize pool and, you know, give them some more things to do and help support the NA region or the Americas region, the Americas scene. So if you're interested, check it out. Check out the matcherino page and check out the event itself. I'm sure it's going to be a blast. And yeah, you can see here it's starting at 3:30 a.m. AEST. If you didn't know, there are some people that don't know. Shame on you. I'm here in Australia. I'm living in the land of Australia. It is past midnight and it starts at 3 a.m. and I'm ready. I've got some coffee ready. You know, I woke up at 6 p.m. so I could adjust my sleep schedule for this event. I'm full degen just to bring you some StarCraft. When it comes to the streamers, it's going to be ourselves as the, I believe, C stream. The main stream is all these lovely people, and the B stream is Rotterdam. I believe Rotterdam is the B stream. Actually, I think I can see it here. Yeah, there we go. There you go. You see here, Rotterdam is the B stream. We are the C stream, and we have Bahamut as the D stream as well. And likewise, we have plenty of other language casters. We have Enki, we have Indie, we have Legend K, we have Rickwiz, we have Skillus casting as Skillus, papi, let's go. Nikita is going to be casting as well. So plenty of other language casters if you are interested in that sort of thing. Remember, day 1 is round robin, day 2 is the playoffs. So tomorrow down here, the semifinals and the grand finals are going to be taking place. Make sure you tune in for that, at least for the playoffs, but for today's round robin as well. It's going to be a lot of good fun. Gonna be a lot of good fun. You're gonna be drinking too? Maybe, I don't know. I'm conflicted. I do have some tequila. I do have some bottles of tequila like right next to me, so I could partake. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Depending on the vibe of the mainstream, that we'll try to acclimate to that vibe. Otherwise, again, it's going to be an amazing event. We have our matches lined up as well. Let me just double check. As casters, we've already picked which games are going to be casting and where things are going to be going. So if you're curious, let me just double check. Let me just double check. Okay, so we're going to be casting Cham versus Estrella first. So over here, you can see Cham versus Estrella, followed by, what do we have? Vindicta versus Eggs. We're a little bit biased on the channel. If you don't know, the CranKy Ducklings, we had a pro team, and we still have, some pro players that we do support as best we can. But a lot of these players used to be on the CranKy Ducklings, specifically Dolan and Vindicta. Trigger was almost a Duckling as well. Fun fact. Trigger was also one for consideration. Cham as well, but Dolan and Vindicta, they are Ducklings or ex-CranKy Ducklings, so we're a little bit biased. I've got a soft place in my heart for Dolan and Vindicta, so we're going to be casting a lot of them on the channel. So it's going to be, let me just double check, it's going to be Cham versus Estrella first, followed by Vindicta versus Eggs, followed by Vindicta versus Dolan. I have to. we have to cover Vindicta versus Dolan. It has to happen, Bobby. So the TVT is going to be here. Disc versus Dolan, Vindicta versus Trigger, and Cham versus Dolan as well. I don't think these are quite the correct lineups for the round robin stage. I think this hasn't been updated, but you just heard the order, and that's what we're going to be committing to. So again, Cham versus Estrella first. It's going to be a lot of fun. The way that it worked is the mainstream, they got first pick. Then Rotterdam got second pick, and then we got third pick, and then Bahamut gets the fourth pick as well. So that's kind of how we kind of split things up, just for like full transparency. And yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of good fun. Thankfully, we were able to get as much Migs and Dolan as we could, but also some other players like Cham and Estrella and all that stuff. We're gonna have a quite diverse amount of matches ahead of us. And yeah, do check it out, do support it. Quickly, if you are interested in the chat, I think we do have a link. We do have a link for the Matcherino page, and there's some really cool stuff on the Matcherino page as well. I wonder if I can show this off. Hold on, I'll link it in the chat for those who are curious. We'll never forget. Yeah, always, Pappy, always. I think I can show this off. Okay. Just trying to make sure I'm not showing anything that I shouldn't. But here we go. The SC2 safe house. Let's go. Now, what's really cool about this on the Matcherino page is, of course, you can support it, but you can actually get things as well. Scrolling on down here, it looks like Zombie Grub, specifically Zombie Grub, is putting up a bunch of her SC2 merch for sale, basically. And some of this stuff is, I'm so tempted. I'm very tempted for some of this stuff. Okay, so we have a Liquid Rising poster. It looks like a Team Liquid, like, anniversary poster that we're going to be selling here. There's Slayer's MMA signed photo. MMA signed photo? Let's go. I mean, look, I guess for more older school people out there, but MMA, he was a big part of SC2. He was on Slayers. He was on Acer as well. He was a part of the Axiom Acer team house and the Axiom Acer team as well. So big fan of MMA. So there's a signed photo if you're interested. There's a Caster Invitational photo as well. For those that are maybe a little bit newer to the scene, there was a caster event a couple of years ago. This was like 2018, 2019. It was a while ago. But it was a big caster event, and all the casters got involved. Wardy, Zombie Grub, In Control, Maynard, Pig, Rotterdam, Fear Dragon. They all actually played StarCraft. Crazy. Some of them for the first time. So, some of them, it's crazy. They actually all were able to compete with each other and in a big tournament. So there's some posters of that. You have Ryung. We just casted the Tuna Terran himself. Ryung signed photo. That's tempting. Like, for those who know me, I'm a big Axiom fan. I'm a massive Axiom fan. Axiom got me into StarCraft. Ryung and kind of MMA, they were all kind of a part of Axiom. Ryung was a part of Axiom. MMA was like a sister team of Axiom with Acer as well. So some really cool, bits of StarCraft history are here. Likewise, we have a Cyril signed photo from GSL versus the World. Let's go. We have an MC signed photo. Oh my god, Min Chul. This is a young MC. This is a Wings of Liberty MC. Oh my god. It's an MC signed photo. Cyril signed card. You have the Home Story Cup. What is that? Home Story Cup poster? I didn't even know they had posters. What the hell? Didn't even know. It's Home Story Cup 18. This I'm tempted to go for, and as I say that, I'm sure other people are gonna go for it as well. Hell, It's About Time unpacked player card pack. That is crazy. That I think that was one of the first times we got a custom in-game portrait. I have the portrait. So for those that are curious, Hell Is About Time, it was the first, not the only, but the first offline event that Base Trade TV hosted. This was back in Heart of the Swarm. This was, I want to say 2015, maybe 2014/15. Hell, It's About Time. It was an event held in Canada. That's why you have Tychus with the Canadian flag. So it's an event held. That's why it's called About Time. But it was an event held in Canada. Crank casted in English. Crank was there. Who else was there? A lot of the Axiom boys were there. Livy was there. I think Livy was also a caster. Obviously, Zombie Grub was a part of Base Trade TV. She was casting. Rifkin was casting. But what they did was something that should be more prevalent in StarCraft is that they had player cards. All the players that got invited or they qualified for the event, they all got their own custom player cards. So that's really cool. That's like huge. And some of the other benefits they had for supporting Hell Is About Time was an in-game portrait, which was the Canadian Tychus portrait, which I do have as well. I have that at least. That was from back in the day. Yeah, Lone Star Clash poster. Let's go. That's from 2014. Lone Star Clash Austin. And then you have Slayer's boxer photo. Also unsigned, unfortunately. Unsigned. But that's difficult to get signed nowadays. Wait, is there more? There's more? I didn't even know! What? Olima League poster. I think I have this. Olima League poster. For those who remember Olima League, that was a Korean weekly tournament back in the day. And I believe for a year, they had custom art made for all of the monthly champions. So there should be 12 players here. 6 and 6. So 12 players, one for each month of the year. This is for a year's worth of Olima League. That's really cool. Yeah. That's really cool. Base Trade TV poster over here. We have a Red signed photo. Oh my god. We have Juanito special. I think this is probably back when he was major. Hard to say, from GSL versus the World. We have Creator versus Rogue. We have Team Liquid SC2 first poster as well. Do we have more? We have more. I didn't even know. I only saw like 2 pages of this. What else do we have? We have Sue. No, sorry, Innovation. My fault. Sue's down here. My apologies. You can't even see it. Okay. Sue and Innovation signed GSL cards. We have a TLO signed WCS card. We have a Terran jacket, a Jinx Terran jacket. For those that are curious, they don't sell this anymore. I have the Jinx Zerg jacket. Jinx, they're a brand, like a clothing brand, and they used to have official StarCraft merch back in the day. I've got the Zerg one of this, but this is the Terran jacket. Those are curious. I'm pretty sure you can find these on eBay, but these are quite expensive. And TL.net SC2 collectible card deck. I didn't even know this was a thing. What is this? TL had a collectible card deck? That's crazy. I didn't know that existed. But yeah, this is all really cool. This is all basically, if you're a big StarCraft fan, like there's some cool stuff here. If you're like a big fan of some of these select players and stuff like that, then There's some actual like StarCraft history here, and it's really cool. Again, I'm pretty sure all of this is zombie grubs, and I think she's just selling it all to help boost the prize pool. So that's really cool. A big shout out to Zombie Grub for parting with some of this stuff. I know that she was a big Slayers fan back in the day as well, so I know it isn't easy getting rid of or parting ways with some of these signed photos and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really cool that she's doing that, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are interested in this sort of thing as well, like I am. Like for me, like personally, just because of my history with StarCraft, like my biggest things are like the Elimi League poster. I would love that. The Hell It's About Time card pack, and yeah, those are the two big things for me personally. But you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are like big Cyril fans, or like MC fans, or like Boxer fans, or Red fans. Like the Ryung signed photo is like tempting. So yeah, if you're interested, you can support. You can support the event via Matcherino. You can do so. Where are we? I'm just posting it in our chats. I feel like we need to get the card pack because crank. I know, right? Like, it's tempting. Love TLO. My inspiration to continue playing random. Let's go. I am member. Foragin members. Foragin. MC the goat toss. Off topic. ESWC qualifier starting in 3 weeks. Yes. We're gonna be a part of that. Hopefully. We have a command. I want that quote to be the command. So yeah, hope everyone enjoyed themselves when it comes to the cast. Hope everyone enjoyed. Oh, Dolan! Get that! We're casting you later, Papi. We're casting you later. Este Dolan. Gonna be featured in this tournament. But yeah, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up for now. Again, the tournament is still like in an hour or so, or 2 hours. So the stream is gonna be going offline. I don't think it's worth leaving the stream online for like an hour or 2 hours potentially. So the stream is going to be going offline. I'm going to take that time to set up all the overlays and get ready for the cast. And everyone, enjoy yourselves. Support NA StarCraft. If you're interested in any of these things, go for it, Papi. Go for it. Because hey, like, I mean, the reality is that StarCraft merch isn't really much of a thing anymore. Like, it's hard to get your hands on player cards and photos and all this stuff. So it's pretty rare stuff. Again, if you're like a hardcore fan of StarCraft, and again, I'm sure plenty of people out there are. So yeah, with that, thanks for watching, thanks for the support. We're gonna be seeing you guys soon in a couple of hours, and until then, enjoy your weekend of StarCraft. A lot going on. Until then, hasta luego, ciao, papi, ciao, hasta luego.